And we're off and running again on the final Tuesday of July. Good morning, everybody. Paul Ihander with you. Max Goren is back from his brief vacation, sitting in the chairs yet again. Good morning to you, Max. Welcome back.
Good to be back.
Good.
No more red-eye air travel.
There you go. Well, hey, anytime you can take a flight anywhere, it's going to be usually someplace fun for the most part. Very rarely do we have to take flights for not fun things. It's happened to me a couple times, unfortunately, this year. I should stop saying that. But most recent flights have been good flights. Good flights. All right, let's get ourselves started here, shall we? Those of you listening on the app, appreciate you. 99.9 The Fan app. Those of you listening in the car, appreciate you. 99.9 The Fan on your radio dial. And those of you listening at home on your smart speaker, appreciate you. Just play 99.9 The Fan. There's a saying about publicity. Any publicity is good publicity, right? When your name is in someone else's mouth, it means you've done something, usually fairly significant. Usually something along the lines of like, oh man, dude just struck oil on one of his wells. How much you making? Oh, like $10 million. Oh, great. Oh, we just had our biggest crop ever in terms of harvest. Oh man, we're going to be set for years. Oh, dude, you just bought a new car. Paul just bought a new car. What is it? Something efficient. That's just kind of how I roll. But cool. Bought a new car. Usually when they say things about you and your name comes out, it's usually a good thing, right? Any publicity is good publicity. It's kind of how we try to shape it, how we try to mold that phrase. University of North Carolina has had their names in our mouths and your mouths now for a little more than a year and a half. Ever since the hiring of Bill Belichick as the head football coach in Chapel Hill, their names have been in our mouths. In some cases, it's been very positive, like right off the gate. Even I said it. I'm like, why can't we have nice things? I remember saying it. Many of you who have listened to this program since day one remember me saying that. When they said, well, maybe we could hire Bill Belichick. I said, why can't we have nice things? Why can't we do that? And I saw the pundits across the board say, nah, forget it. No shot. And then he arrives. And then that name is still in our mouths over and over and over again until they start playing football. We're the Michael Jordans, Mia Hamms, Julius Peppers of the world, the legendary basketball coaches that still go to games, all show up at one football game on an opening night, and they take it down the field and score a touchdown. And there's positivity. And their name is in our mouths in a positive way. And then they got throttled in that opening game. Throttled in that opening game. And they struggled to 4-8. And in between all of that, there are people behind the scenes doing things. And again, those names are in our mouths, but not for positive things. Cornerbacks coach Armand Hawkins, you might remember this, was suspended last October for violating extra benefits rules within the NCAA. Michael Lombardi's talking about 33rd NFL teams trying to recruit while their names are still coming out of our mouths. And other coaches are saying things about this program. How are we getting beat by Carolina, says Group of 5 coach to The Athletic. They're going to be terrible. Were they right? 4-8? Yeah, they weren't that good. And the end of the season did not go well. And their names are still in our mouths. But it hasn't been positive.
No.
At all.
And I know it comes from a place of bias for me because I grew up in North Carolina. I grew up as a Wake Forest fan in Winston-Salem, and they didn't have much success on the field, at least when I was really growing up. And they found a little bit more in the Dave Clawson and now Jake Dickert eras. And then I graduated from NC State, so obviously you could take what I say with a grain of salt. But I've never understood the Bill Belichick, Lombardi, this whole move and overhaul that they were going for. I've always likened it to, it's like fantasy mode in like a Madden video game or like a college football video game. They're like, oh, well, Bill Belichick is a legend. Like, let's just hire him. And then, boom, all of a sudden, oh, we're going to be good at football now. Like, it's not how it works. Just because a guy has a bunch of success at the NFL level doesn't mean you can automatically plug him in to college football and he can succeed. There are legends of the game over the last handful of years that have kind of had to get not necessarily weaned out, but I mean Nick Saban took himself out of college football kind of on his own accord because he couldn't handle the modern NIL and changes and the transfer portal and everything. Like, he wasn't able to sustain that level of success.
Yeah, he's not the only coach that did that.
Yeah, and he was awesome at the college level. You look down at Clemson and Dabo Swinney, I think they'll turn it around a little bit after going, 7-6 last year or whatever it was. But, even these college coaches that were wildly successful less than 10 years ago are struggling. So the fact that the leadership at Chapel Hill thought they could just bring in an NFL coach with effectively zero college football coaching experience and that this would work out, it never made sense to me. And just day by day, things are just continue to go wrong. They've got a bunch of new players on the roster this year. Now you've got a general manager you've got on paid administrative leave with less than 5 weeks to go until your season opener. It's 4 weeks from Saturday in Ireland in week 0 when they're kicking off the season, and their GM is on leave right now. It's not positive momentum for Carolina. The outlook for this season is not looking good. I was even seeing Carolina fans who tend to be somewhat eternally optimistic online. I saw somebody on Twitter yesterday that I follow saying just the first step in what could be the most embarrassing season in Carolina football history.
Yeah, there's pride to be said when it comes to players. That's Max. I'm Paul. Next up here on 99.9 The Fan. Carolina. Publicity. Any publicity is good publicity. This is not good publicity for the brand. It is not. When the news came out yesterday morning, roughly 24 hours ago, that general manager of the football program, Michael Lombardi, was placed on paid administrative leave, it started a clock. It started a clock and then got piled on by Pablo Torre, sports investigative reporter, who has a thing for North Carolina, we can say that, who is being investigated by the College Sports Commission. This is what he reported. We're not sure what that is. Usually it has something to do with some sort of extra benefits or some sort of deal that went squirrely, and that usually has to do with money paid to a player. And if there was some circumvention or if there was something promised for the payment and it didn't go forward, this is where the CSC gets involved. And they're investigating a lot of things. This is not a new thing. They're always probing and probing and probing. This is separate from the Lombardi thing, as far as we know. At least that's what Torre is reporting. But it doesn't help the brand of North Carolina. And as I mentioned just seconds ago, the paid administrative leave starts a clock. It starts a clock within the the HR system of University of North Carolina. Based on where he is classified as a non-faculty employee, there is an investigation that goes underway. Also, the length of administrative leave does not exceed 30 days. You just heard Max talk about the opening day, the opening game for Carolina football, roughly a month away. They open camp on Thursday. And you're going to hear the question asked to Bill Belichick, who will address the media at that time. At least I'm hoping that he does. And he will say no comment, as per university policy, when it comes to Michael Lombardi. He could surprise us and say, yeah, we're working through some things right now, and we hope to make some decisions soon. It's not quite how that process works. But yesterday, for those of you who were here and joined me, paid administrative leave rarely results in something good for the person who's been placed on paid administrative leave. This is a distraction. By all means, within the building, outside the building, within alumni, within the donor base, this is a distraction. And don't think the players don't know about it because their boys are rolling up on them or their girlfriends are like, hey, what's going on with that? What's up with that? Like, you guarantee parents are blowing up their phones too. Like, it is not, the only way to avoid it for players is to turn off their phones, to turn off their socials and put do not disturb on their emails. And you know, in this day and age, that ain't happening. This is a distraction. North Carolina understands this is a distraction too. If it were me and I'm not saying it's a crisis, but sure, let's call it what it is. If I'm a crisis coordinator hired by this football program and need to get out ahead of this as far as possible, we have already asked for resignation. We have already asked for it. And because there's a buyout and because there's money to be paid to the highest paid general manager in Division I football, as far as we know. I mean, again, I don't know if someone's doing some side Bitcoin with the guy at LSU who they moved over from McNeese or whatever it is, or Alabama or some of these other schools. I'm like, they buy him out quietly, he tenders his resignation, and we're done. And from what we understand, because it was an HR violation and something that was reported, there is not going to be a performance improvement plan. The performance improvement plan for Michael Lombardi in Carolina football is on the field. They were 4-8 last year. He is in charge of players. He is in charge of putting together the best crew possible for his head coach and his assistants and coordinators and strength staff and nutritionists and whatnot to go out on the field and do what? Win football games. And right now, year one, an absolute failure, an absolute misunderstanding of what was required to win football games in the ACC, let alone the current college football landscape. And there are people out there right now, there are businesses, people who own corporations who are listening to the show now, or maybe you're pulling this up on a podcast later, who will understand what I'm going to talk about here in the next 15 seconds. Fail fast. If you can't get it done and you know it's a bad fit or a wrong fit, you need to make a change. Absolute change. And in many cases, in many corporations and in many businesses, you offer some sort of probationary grace period. Usually it's 90 days, 120 days. I've never understood, with the exception of the fact that there are an awful lot of big dollars out there that continue to be splashed the pot by teams across this country in all sports, where they give such long leashes to coaches and long leashes to guys like this who couldn't get it done in year one. Now, we're building something here. We're building something strong. We're building a program. We're building something that needs to lead to a better young men and better things. You're playing for championships. You're playing for wins. You cannot tell me that if I walked into that same situation that you wouldn't cut my ass, that you wouldn't pull that plug on me that fast. There is no way. And now it's starting to stack up. Now you've got miscues, you've got things being said publicly, making appearances on national TV. You know what? If making appearances on national TV with Pat McAfee gets you a 5-star recruit, fantastic. But it still doesn't mean anything. You're not getting anything out of it except you're wasting 20 minutes with freaking Pat McAfee. That's it. He didn't get you anything. He didn't slide you an extra $500,000. It didn't lead to a 4-star punter showing up. All you do is make a media appearance. There's nothing. It's a zero-sum game. And I could say the same thing if he came on here too. I'm not going to get him anything. At least I'm talking to somebody locally about it and what's going on and admitting those faults and admitting those mistakes. That's the one hardest thing to do when it comes to character, right? Admitting that you suck at something. That's hard. That's really hard to do. But if you're okay with saying it, then maybe you can take that next step to change it. But I don't think there are any more next steps at this point. Like, I have it written down on a piece of paper in front of me. The latest on North Carolina football and the next step. The next step, unfortunately, is where they were last December in 2024, which was, well, hard reset. Mac Brown's out. Let's bring in some resources. Let's bring in a new coach. Now you're looking at changing over player personnel, a front office? Like, we've seen this play out in professional sports too, which is what college sports is right now. It's professional sports, just without, like, binding contracts.
Yeah. Well, for the players. with
They
coaches.
can go anytime they want.
You're
Players
talking
go anytime
about
they
contracts. I mean, that's the whole reason Carolina's kind of painted into this corner is because of the contract that they handed out to Belichick, where if they fire him before the end of 2027, they still owe him all the money for the first 3 years of the contract, which is like $30 million. So I guess when they took this gamble, and I think at this point it's pretty clear that it's not working out. And granted, I guess anything is possible, and they could come out this year and win, 8 games or something, right, and show some signs of life and progress.
Cool. They can be Clemson from last year.
Yeah, well, Clemson didn't win 8 games last year, but regardless of that, doesn't seem likely. I guess they could, but at this point, like, they can't really admit that they were wrong and try to clean house and reset everything because they don't want to pay. I think it would be like a top 5 buyout of all time. I guess they've already paid the $10 million for the first season now that it's over. So I guess it would still be another $20 million.
$2.5 million a win.
Yeah. So they'd have to admit that they screwed up. They'd have to pay a hefty price to kind of clean house and reset things again. And I guess maybe they just don't see the point in that investment and might as well just, at this point, wait it out until these contracts are up. They'll end up moving on from Lombardi.
Really?
They'll end up moving on from Belichick.
Lombardi's first, by the way. It's happening in 30 days.
Do they have the investment necessary in football to do that buyout and reset things again already? Like, I think they're almost certainly going to see out this season, at least in terms of Belichick. I know at this point with whatever the leave is, and we don't have a ton of the details on whatever unspecified HR complaint that this leave for Lombardi stemmed from, but I think they're just going to see things out at this point, and they've accepted that whatever happens this season happens. It's probably not going to be good. I think anybody can kind of tell that. They're doing the same thing as last year, kind of definition of insanity thing, where last year it was, 70 new players, and this year it's like 61 or something like that. Like, you're just not going to be able to put together a cohesive group and turn things around like that. Like, you need some development of your players in college football, unless you're one of these top dogs that can recruit these 5 stars or that can pay these transfers a lot of money to come and bring their established talent. I don't think Carolina has either of those heading into this season. So it's not going to be pretty again, I don't think, but unless they negotiate something in terms of a buyout to reset everything, I think they're just going to have to hunker down and let this whole season blow over again. And even then, I'm not sure if they're going to make a move because of the way that they've structured this buyout.
All right, y'all. The latest when we have it, more coming. Their names have been in our mouths for a while now, and it went from positive to negative real quick.
I'm Max Goren with 3 things you need to know right now from 99.9 The Fan. Carolina Panthers cornerback J.C. Horn has been activated from the active non-football injury list this morning, meaning he will join the team for the first day of padded practice at training camp. Horn suffered a cut on his toe while running before camp, but has been running individually on the sidelines during the first days of practice. As reported Monday morning, UNC football GM Michael Lombardi has been placed on paid administrative leave by the university. UNC football is also being investigated by the College Sports Commission, which handles compliance and enforcement of NCAA and NIL rules, according to Pablo Torre. Carolina opens up fall camp on Thursday. The Durham Bulls remain in first place after last week's series split in Memphis, and they begin a series with the Gwinnett Stripers tonight at the DBAP. Bulls coverage is available on 620 AM Buzz Sports Radio, 99.9 FM HD2, and WRAL News Plus, with first pitch scheduled for 6:45 p.m. For all the latest news on your favorite teams, download the 99.9 The Fan app or visit 999thefan.com.
You see Air Bud is coming back? They
had a press conference with the new one.
They dropped a trailer yesterday for it's been 30 years, by the way, since Air Bud was a thing. You remember the golden retriever that plays basketball and now apparently plays most Olympic sports at this point? Air Bud golden retriever, Air Bud golden receiver, Air Bud plays volleyball, I believe baseball, softball.
What about the buddies?
The Air Bud, right, the
pups.
Air Buddies. Apparently he's back playing basketball at the same school Air Bud is the LeBron James, apparently.
No, he's Air Bud went through the courts. He got a temporary injunction, and now he's got another year of eligibility to come back. It's adapted for modern sports.
Sure. The mentor is a kid in a wheelchair. The team is now co-ed, but it's still the Timberwolves, and they still kind of follow the same formula. There's no rule in this book that says a dog cannot play basketball. So between that and Ham from Sandlot's got a new movie out with Topanga from Boy Meets World. Apparently he plays like a youth baseball coach, and he reunites a bunch of the actors from The Sandlot in this thing. It's going to be on like YouTube, I think. Like the nostalgia factor is turned up to 11 right now when it comes to sports. On Thursday, UNLV Runnin' Rebels head coach Josh Pastner spoke out about the college basketball landscape. Josh Pastner, of course, former coach at Georgia Tech, very familiar with him around these parts. That was his last job. Now he's at UNLV. Said in an interview with ABC television station there, when it came to, he was talking about actually like the NBA franchise that was coming to Las Vegas. And instead of NBA ownership, which apparently there are 6 ownership groups out there trying to put a team together, he suggested an alternative. Why not buy the UNLV men's college basketball team? He said, it's legal now. You can be the owner of the UNLV Runnin' Rebels men's basketball team, and it's a lot less expensive. You don't have to spend over $1 billion. I'm asking for $10 to $12 million to own our team. And even his school followed up, saying, here's other things you can purchase for $10 million, like a jet or a mansion. And it's like, you could buy our basketball team. And he's not wrong. He wasn't wrong at all. And the only problem I have with him saying that is that he walked it back. He walked it back yesterday, basically saying the Rebels are not for sale, and my reference to owner was meant to highlight the level of resources, sponsorships, and overall support needed to compete in today's evolving college athletics landscape, not to suggest anyone could own the program. Huh? We just talked about North Carolina, right? That name has been in our mouths for a while. Let's be honest. UNLV basketball hasn't been in our mouths since Jerry Tarkanian was there. And that's being nice. That is Grandmama Larry Johnson, Charlotte Hornets fans. Stacey Ogman, Greg Anthony, George Ackles, Anderson Hunt. I can still name the starting 5.
Hey, they're arena hosts Summer League.
They're arena hosts Summer League, which I've been to. He walked it back, and he shouldn't have. He shouldn't have. He should have doubled down. Said, you know what? I was conservative in that number. It's not 10 to 12 million. It's 20. It's 20. And not only can you buy this team, you can sit courtside next to me and chirp at me when I make a stupid play call. You can chirp at me. But I tell you what, those 12, 14 young men on the court, you bought and paid for that team. They all signed deals. They all have NIL deals thanks to you. They all have retention money to come here and play basketball. We're going to return UNLV to its glory. Its actual running Rebels days. Like, you thought like the Miami stuff was cool when they rolled out the starter jackets, and you've seen the starter jackets here for the Canes and the 90s look or whatever it was, like the Miami, the Grand Theft Auto Vice City kind of vibe that comes along with it. UNLV running Rebel stuff was cool back in the day. Like, you couldn't get enough of it. And Josh Pastner out there walking that stuff, that's the only problem I have. He's telling the truth. He's telling the truth when it comes to basketball teams. Have you seen the numbers that have been thrown out for college basketball in terms of retention in the last couple days? Like, you think the ACC should be higher. They're not. It's the SEC and then the Big East. The Big East has an advantage. They don't play football. They can dump all their money into college basketball. St. John's and Rick Pitino can live high on the hog. Seton Hall. Josh Pastner shouldn't have walked it back. He should have just doubled down on it, said, I was actually not right about the number. I meant $20 million can buy you this team. That'll put us over the top. That'll put us into the expanded NCAA tournament, but we won't need the expansion because we will be a conference champion out here in the Mountain West. And we will do that year after year after year with your support. Talked about college football coaches yesterday being like salesmen and kind of round up crews for the donors and kind of letting the assistants do their thing. In college basketball, it's even more magnified. You don't have this giant crew of assistant coaches and whatnot to get behind. Matter of fact, most of your success is judged by how many assistant coaches you have sitting behind your bench and do they match the number of players on your bench. If you have a near equivalent, you're doing all right. You're doing all right. He should have never walked it back. He didn't need to. Double down, man. Double down. Just own that stuff.